Today, I want to teach you guys how to find equivalent fractions. That's right, equivalent fractions. Equivalent meaning equal. These fractions will be equal to each other. Okay? Now, this may be tricky because even though the numbers that represent them are different, they still are equal because they take up the same amount of space. And I'll show you exactly what that means by showing you an example to start off. So let's say if we had a pie and we had halves, we split it in two, we see our denominator, it's something out of two. Let's say I took one piece of that pie. You can see I'll shade in one piece of that pie, like so. Let's say I have that same pie, but this time I have 4 pieces of it. It's split into 4 pieces, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say I take 2 pieces out of that 4. And I'll shade that in like so. Okay, finally, let's say my fraction is in eighths, my pie rather is in eighths. You can see there's 8 empty pieces here, so I have a denominator of 8. What if I were to take 4 pieces of that pie? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to shade in 4 pieces of this pie. Eaten up. Take it away. And you can see that all of these fractions are equivalent because they take up the same amount of space. Right here, represented by the orange color, right here, and right here. Now, again, all of these fractions are equal, yet they have different numbers in the numerator and denominator. Now, how is that possible? So this is possible by multiplying or dividing our denominator and numerator by the same number. Now the key here is that it's the same number. You can see exactly what I mean as we move across the fractions here, right? So if I were to take 2 and multiply it by 2, I would get 4. You can see in the top I also multiplied 1 by 2. And this gave me 2 fourths. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. And I did the same thing for this fraction. 4 times 2 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. Now, you can see in our visual representation, 1/2, 2 fourths, and 4/8 take up the same amount of space. All I had to do mathematically was multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number. It can be any number, but it's the same number. Now, if we look at it going backwards, we see that we also divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And that's how we find equivalent fractions. So, in order to find an equivalent fraction, all we have to do is multiply or divide the numerator and denominator by the same number. All I'm going to do is show you in this example, what if I were to use the number 7? Sure, 5 times 7 is 35, and 3 times 7 is 21, right? And we can also see that working backwards, if I divide it by 7, 35 divided by 7 is 5, 21 divided by 7 is 3. Okay guys, so these are the kind of problems that we're going to be running into. We're going to have to fill in the numerator or denominator, making these fractions equivalent. And it could be on either side. It could be on the right side, numerator, denominator, left side, numerator, denominator. It doesn't matter. What we have to do is find this one number that is either multiplied or divided that's the same number on the top and the bottom. And this is how we will do this. So, for example, number 1, I'll ask myself, I see the relationship between the 12 and the 24. The 12 and the 24 here. So, I could go one of two ways. 24 divided by what is 12, or 12 times what is 24. And I know my answer either way is 2. So since my number is missing in the numerator, I'm going to start at my 3. Say 3 times 2 equals, well, 3 times 2 is 6. So my answer for this equivalent fraction is 3/12 is equal to 6/24. If you take a look at number 2, we have 4/5 is equal to 16 over something. We don't know what down here. So we can do one of two things. 4 times what equals 16, or 16 divided by what equals 4. And of course, my answer is 4. So since my missing number down here, I have to start with my 5, and say 5 times what? Well, we already figured that out on the top. It's 4. So my equivalent fraction here is going to be 16/20. Again, I could do this starting with my numbers on the right. I have 12 and 36, and it seems that my numbers are getting smaller here. So what I think I'm going to do this time is divide. So I'm going to do 36 divided by what equals 3. Well, 36 divided by 12 is 3. So whatever I did to the bottom, I'm also going to do to the top. 12 divided by 12 is 1. 1/3 is equal to 12/36. For the last example, we'll do, again, we're working backwards, meaning our numbers are going from bigger to smaller. So I'm going to start on this side. I'm going to say 4 divided by what equals 2? Well, 2. So 10 divided by 2 equals 5. Therefore, 4/10 and 2/5 are equivalent fractions. Alright guys, now you give it a try with numbers 5 and 6. See how well you can do. Remember, for starting smaller to bigger, we want to multiply. For starting big to go smaller, we want to divide. Alright guys, good luck.